Hello and welcome to Admit One, your movie and TV podcast right here on Rabbit Hole Media. I am one of your hosts, Jack Nedley Thompson. As always and as usual, I'm joined by my platonic husband, Kristian Lasham.
Ellie. He says it so weird. Ellie.
We have a weird plank of wood.
That's always been there.
It has not.
It has. It's just normally the other way round, and it's white on the other side, so you don't normally notice it. But it has always been there.
Well, then this is silly then, isn't it?
It has changed. I grant you it's changed, and well done for noticing. It does make the look off balance, though, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Shall I fix it?
I don't know. I kicked... oh, this is way bigger than I anticipated. There you go. That's way better. Immediately.
Ta-da!
My big wood.
Correct. Hello.
Hi. We're here to talk about T-Lao. Tlau? No, that doesn't work.
I appreciate the attempt.
We always have to try. Whenever there's any form of acronym, it has to try. I have consumed food since I bought this shirt. Too much of it, I think.
I see. I was like, yeah. I've seen you wear that shirt before.
Getting a bit in the arms here.
Let's see.
Getting a bit tight. Woof. Last of Us.
Yeah, go on. Let's do this then. Because I know you don't like this episode.
I like half of it. I fucking hate half of it.
Now, you see, this is interesting because I kind of agree. Because I know what bits you don't like. But I think there is one particular part of the bit you don't like, which isn't very good, which then brings it down.
I don't like any of it.
Yeah, this is where that's where we'll differ.
Like a single second.
Okay. Fuck it. I'm gonna fuck time codes. We're in spoiler land because there's no way of doing this. I've literally done 20 seconds worth of spoiler-free general impressions. Let's go.
So all the Joel and Ellie stuff was fucking great.
Mostly, this is still fucking excellent. Like mostly,
Good.
It's brilliant. I think
It's good. I think there are some weird moments.
Well, they said the stuff with Joel and Ellie is still really, really like
There's still some weird moments within that. For
interesting.
Me.
Okay.
I think if you're trying to be sneaky, don't drive across a clearly damp field. That's the most obvious track I've ever seen.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
Like they even give you like this panning, like over bird's eye view shot of just this trail you've led to your exact location. So, but anyway, there's that. We'll stick to the Joel and Ellie stuff for now. I didn't like that she didn't kill that guy.
Yes, I agree.
I didn't like that. That was meant to be a big moment, and they just turned it into nothing.
Totally agree.
Like, that was okay, fine, you shot someone, and then Joel finished him. It reminded me of what was actually an important, powerful scene in The Punisher, season 2, where this little girl that he's looking after shoots someone, and then she's like really stressed, like overwhelmed and just sobbing about the fact that she killed someone. He goes, "You didn't kill him," and then just like puts 2 more bullets in his head and went, "No, I killed him."
I don't remember. I don't think that happens before they meet Sam and Henry in the game, does it?
What, where she kills someone?
Yeah,
because they're on their own.
Yeah, but I thought it was after.
No, but because it's in Pittsburgh, Kansas City, in this. But,
yeah, you might be right.
But
I don't fully remember
beforehand.
I don't fully remember. I'm wondering
because
if
it's the same group, isn't it? That does with all the tanks and everything.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I think
it is. You are right. See, I was wondering if they're going to build to it later on that she will then do it and it'll be the killing blow sort of thing and be
but then you kind of.
So then that takes it away. Yeah, either way,
like
it's an error.
Yeah, like false decision.
Yeah,
and just
agreed.
No, just shoot. You're meant to have shot him in the face. Mm-hmm. This was meant to be like a huge...
Also meant that we didn't get another one of Ellie's fantastic lines.
I kind of blew that guy away, didn't I?
Yeah, where it is, yeah.
I shot the shit out of that guy, is what she says. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. But we just get this guy just sobbing crying for mummy.
Well, that side of it I liked. So that sequence where they crash into the shop, and actually all the build up to that sequence I really liked. There was some really good stuff straight out of the game.
All of
there.
that stuff is really good, other than the fact that she didn't kill the guy.
Yeah.
I know that in the game it's not in that fight.
I like that though, because they do some really good stuff, as I say, of stuff straight out of the game. The whole car conversation with the magazine. All of that is straight out of the game, and it's really like, good.
I don't know what it was. I feel like with those moments, they're good. I enjoyed them. They're funny, and they're pretty much line verbatim from the games, and that's all really cool. There's something really weird about the editing, and each person responds too quickly.
I think that is more just that you know the other version so well.
No, it felt unnatural. That like it went from so fast, responding so fast, and I feel there's a lot of that. Like
maybe I didn't get that. I think that is less the editing so much as just that you, because like me, have the game ingrained in your head. You know those performances so well. So when you see, and this is the thing, those moments are verbatim to the game. They're not just a version of. They are literally the same script, the same dialogue. So you're hearing it. It's almost uncanny valley. You're hearing something that you know, but it's not quite how you know it, and it sort of like creates this uneasy. What something's not right here? Is it not edited right? Is it this was right? I think it is just that it's not what you know.
Probably.
I think that's what it comes down to. I understand it's completely distracting. I've had the same sort of things in many occasions. I agree there.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, my biggest problem with the Joel and Ellie stuff was the fact that she didn't.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I totally agree.
Everything else, I think, it's a slower episode, but it's important. It builds up towards the thing. I don't like that Joel did just viciously, like seemingly from the sounds of it, like viciously killed that guy after Ellie had shot him. Like Joel was always the necessary evil. Like in that game, he's always a necessary evil of a character, and always did what he needed to do to survive, and then ended up doing what he needed to do to protect Ellie was throughout the game. He didn't need to do that, and I feel like that kind of just is adding too much to this. Joel is an evil person, and like he's not. He just there is no right and wrong anymore, so he just does whatever he needs to. But yeah, he didn't need to. So I didn't like. So that entire thing, I didn't like a thing about that entire.
No, I agree. That should have been Eddie killed him.
Ellie killed her. Though, like, I don't get what your possible trajectory is from here to justify that. I don't understand that at all.
No, I agree with that.
That should have just been point blank killed.
What I did like they did in this section, though, not with Joel and Ellie, was with the gunfight they had here. I liked that they humanized the enemies without focusing on them, and they treated the enemies kind of like the part 2 enemies, the part 2 NPCs.
Yeah.
So I like that you've got the two guys shooting. You can't see them really. There's not a focus on the two guys that are shooting at them. You've got Joel and Ellie's conversation of him saying, look, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And I like that as well. I thought that interaction was really good, and her focusing in on just not breaking eye contact with him was like, hey, what are you going to do for me here? Like, and I'm listening to you. And I like that when he gets up and he shoots the guy, you hear just the background, the other guy react like, you bastard, you like, is this you shot my friend thing?
I've always found those reactions, because many things do that. Not many, but like there are a lot of things. I always find it quite funny, because it's like, what did you think was going to happen in this scenario?
Yeah, but as we know, people are dumb.
Well, yes, yeah, all of them are fucking dumb. Christ.
So,
I very nearly fucking just... What is the move with a pile driver? I just nearly fucking dropped an old woman on her head earlier. Anyway.
But I like that. But yeah, I do think Ellie not killing the guy was a misstep, because it is an important part for both the characters. It's an important part for Ellie, but it's also really important for Joel to show that she will protect him as well, and that there's clearly a kinship there. And it's difficult because they've got to build this kinship in a different way. We haven't had 8 hours of gameplay with him by this point, so it is difficult. I get that, but I think that was a wrong move. I think you could have just had her kill him and it would have worked in the same way,
because that's why he gave her the gun.
Yeah,
in the game. Because...
Well, they go the same here. He gives her the gun.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, it's just not.
It's not quite the same. Yeah.
And
I did like when he was showing her how to use the gun, though. Yeah, she just had like this look of complete glee on her face.
Oh yeah, like that was most of it is a really nice moment. Like when they're lying there Just like it runs in your genes, and they're just having a little giggle. I other than that one particular moment, as I said, I really like all the stuff for Joel and Ellie. So there are there's the actual reason why they changed the city, because this in the game is Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So there's the actual reason, and then there's the theory that I got from Sacred Symbols, and I've seen a few places online as well, which was apparently not a lot, but some people who live in America and therefore know the layout of America were a bit like, Pittsburgh? That's where you fucked up last time? Because on their journey, that was apparently if you look at a map, Pittsburgh is like hurdle 1 of where they were coming from.
Right.
It's like the first possible place you could have fucked up, and you did. Whereas Kansas City is a lot further over. And it begs then, like, if you didn't have a car from Pittsburgh, how the fuck did you get the rest of the way? Whereas Kansas City is a bit more believable. The actual reason was because it was all filmed in Canada. They couldn't make where they were look like Pittsburgh. Yeah,
that's fine though. I change the location of that. It's neither here nor there.
It's meaningless.
Yeah,
it's meaningless. So yeah, I don't care about the change of location. It absolutely makes sense, and that's one of the changes this week. That makes sense. Possibly the only one, because everything I liked was essentially verbatim. Other than they have a small few bits, they don't climb up a massive skyscraper, and things like that. But the general principle of what they're doing is the same. But and then they did 2 changes, which was whatever I just said.
3 really, because they also still haven't got the Federer after him. I think they've just Federer's just disappeared for the most part now.
Yeah, other than we're in Boston, seemingly, or at least at the very least here, Federer have gone. But yeah, and then just the rest of it. Fucking hated the rest of it. Fucking hated it.
Right, what was it you didn't like?
Its existence. Like, that sounds like me being facetious, but we didn't need any of it.
Okay.
I don't think any of it is needed. I don't want to get to know the hunters or the raiders, whatever you want to call them. I don't want to get to know them. They are to die. That's their sole purpose. They are there to die or to be snuck around, depending on how you want to play the game. We don't need to know them. I don't think it adds anything. All it does is take away time you could be developing Joel and Ellie's relationship. I think that's all it does, especially considering all the fucking characters you've given us a shit.
See, yeah, that's for me, I think, the misstep, because I think, like part 2, it's important that we have and explore these kind of militant groups and these stuff. And even the same
story, I disagree, but I don't think it's important at all.
Okay, but it's the same as like David's group when we eventually get to that. In a way, I think it is important to set up that these different groups exist and these different sort of colonies exist, and humanizing them a little bit, because that's what the world of The Last of Us is about. I understand you don't want to take away from Joel and Ellie's story, and actually I agree, and I think the missteps there is that they put a focus on a story where we didn't need one, with characters that weren't good. I think going in and exploring that there is this colony here, and why Sam and Henry, which we're about to meet in the next episode properly, and why they're trying to escape, for example, is interesting, but I don't know if the way they've executed it in this is the right way. So I think the concept of what they're going for is a good idea. I just don't think they pulled it off in the context of the episode and the show.
They definitely didn't pull it off, but I also I don't agree. I don't think you need any of it. I don't think any.
That's fair enough. To be honest,
the game didn't have any of it.
Yeah, to be honest, I agree in the sense of you don't need it, but I don't think it needed to take away from what they were doing with Joel and Ellie, but because they executed it badly, it then took away from those moments. I think if they had executed that stuff with that story better...
No, for sure.
Because I would say,
Bill and Frank.
Yes, because Bill and Frank, yeah. I was about to say the exact same thing.
If you do something well, but at the same time, clearly this is what we're getting.
Yeah.
And the problem is that main woman.
Yeah, she's awful.
She's fucking atrocious.
Yeah.
She's not a good dramatic actor.
Yeah, I don't
know how she got hired.
I don't buy that anyone in this
I think
group
day 2, not Tommy, would have shot her in the face.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't buy that any of these people will be following her. They're like, shut up.
Yeah, she's just fucking irritating. Every second she's speaking.
And has clearly put them into a downfall.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. And I just didn't like any of that. And I don't know why everything that didn't have this massive plot arc around it now needs a massive plot arc around it. Why can't we have just had Joel climb in a window and bump into Sam Henry? Both of them, to Sam and Henry. Why did there need to be this build-up where I have never heard the names Sam and Henry more in my fucking life than in this episode? It's Sam and Henry this, and Henry that, and Sam this, and Henry that. Shut the fuck up. Like, we get it. You're teasing these characters. It's like, oh. That's the only reason anything on that side of this episode existed.
Yeah.
It was a, oh. And the same with the hole in the ground, like, or the soon-to-be hole in the ground. So, if they hadn't put that all over the trailers, and if they hadn't put that in the next time on the episode, that would have been an interesting, what the fuck is that? Mm-hmm. But no, it's in the, so as soon as I see it, I go, I know what that is.
Yes.
But I don't, none of it. Didn't want any of it. And the fact that it was the shortest episode and spent half of it doing this, I was like, nah, done. I also don't like the way at the very end they met Sam and Henry.
Yep.
Don't like that. That was meant to just be Sam and Henry are slinking about.
Yep.
And then suddenly Joel comes in a window.
Yep.
Gets taken by surprise and just gives him a bonk. Mm-hmm. And then they have a bit of a tussle. He's there with a gun. They're like, and both the kids are just like, stop. We're fine. Stop. Yeah. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, again, because that's the thing that happens in the game. There is Sam and Ellie stop them from fighting, and that's again an important moment of them being the sensible ones in the situation. Like, hey, you haven't got to protect me all the time. There's another kid here. We're all right. Just relax. I think
no, they just clearly quite vindictively have snuck into this room.
Yes.
And are now holding them
woken them up at gunpoint, yeah.
And it's just like, for fuck's sake, why have you, like, you nailed this 10 years ago. Why are you changing it so much? Like, there's so much of that. Some changes are fine, and I think you can change, the big changes can happen to the smaller stuff. That's why Bill and Frank was so good, and I wasn't like, oh, they've changed it. It's because it was a very small part of that game, to the point where, as I've jokingly referred to them, like Frank was nothing but a ceiling ornament in that game. So it's a very, very small part.
But
they expanded on it, changed it a little bit to fit the way they wanted to go, but it didn't change anything.
Yeah, this is what you said last week. Like, it still got you to the same place.
Yeah. Whereas I think the approach they've taken to everything in this episode leads you somewhere completely fucking different.
Yeah, I do agree.
I don't know how you... Like, I don't see how the character we know as Joel will let this go. Mm-hmm. I don't buy that he would let this go. I reckon the first opportunity, he pops Henry in the back of the head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no reason at this point... With the way that we've left this, there's no reason that Joel would have any form of trust in them.
No.
Because the reason he trusts them the first time, as you say, he bumps into them and the kids make them talk. And he trusts Ellie by this point because Ellie saved his life. Mm-hmm. And in the game, not only has Ellie saved his life, but there's
also been a few extra hours.
It's been a while. Yeah. And he's like given her a gun and gone, hey, you need to cover my back for a while.
Yeah, you have that whole her sniping section.
Which is when he teaches her how to use a gun. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of options of them really bonding and building trust. This, you've got quite a few areas of them bonding, but not trust so much as a kinship, so much as a father-daughter thing of just like, hey, you make me laugh and whatnot. Like, there's not really a trust being built here because there's not had to be much of one. The only thing is that he's now seen that Ellie will protect him too, but not in great detail, not in the same way you get in the game. And that is, as I said this earlier in the episode, and
that's the nature of...
It's difficult because you have less time. We are, 5-6 hours into this, and most of that time hasn't been with Joel and Ellie, whereas at this point in the game, you probably had 8 hours with just Joel and Ellie. So, Maybe a little bit less.
I was going to say it wouldn't be 8 hours. Maybe on a first playthrough.
Yeah, but more time specifically with Joel.
Yeah,
Because you're
yeah.
playing it from the perspective of Joel, everything you're seeing is from the perspective
you're always
of Joel.
with Joel and Ellie, yeah.
So you see things differently and more moments.
Yeah, I just feel like this kind of shows me that... it kind of shows me that they've said that they're not going to do any seasons or anything that aren't direct adaptations of the games. I now don't believe them.
Oh, I do.
I don't. I believe Neil won't, but I think they'll try and, because the amount of stuff that's just like this. I don't know how I can say this when the creator is literally involved, or one of the creators is literally involved. But I feel like they've forgotten what The Last of Us is about.
I think I don't think I get where you're going for. I don't think they have. I think there's a risk it could go that way, but I don't think it will, personally.
No, I don't know. I don't know, honestly, because this is a story about two people, and in 50% of the show, they've been partially involved.
What about? I was going to ask you about something sort of unrelated, but it's more about next week's episode. But I've seen it from the trailers. Do you know about the change to Sam and Henry?
No.
Oh, I mean, it's in the next week trailer, so I'm not really spoiling anything for show-wise.
I don't know. I have seen that, but I haven't really clocked onto what. I probably will as soon as you say it.
Seemingly, Sam's death. Sam's death.
Oh, I see. Well, that's unnecessary, but fine.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just another one of these unnecessary changes. I don't know what it adds. So,
yeah, it doesn't seem to add.
Well, sorry, Rich, I've spoiled some bits there for you.
That seems unnecessary. My thing is to me, at the very least, nothing other than Joel and Ellie matter.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that. That's what the story's about.
The story is about Joel and Ellie and the development of their relationship and their journey across half of the country. Everyone else is there to service Joel and Ellie,
yes,
and have them develop and grow. So if we're spending half an episode away from Joel and Ellie, fucking irrelevant. Unless you make it
relevant,
back round,
like Frank and Bill
Bill and Frank, that kind of swamp about. But at the same time, I'd argue it was very good, unnecessary.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. I thought it was unnecessary to change that.
Yeah, it was. No, I just mean that entire episode. Like, to be fair, it is entirely unnecessary, and it adds nothing to the plot. But it was just really good. So it was like, well, you can't win them all, but but it was still a real good episode of TV, so I ain't mad.
Yeah.
But this, I think, did both. You're telling me something that doesn't matter and wasn't good. Mm-hmm. And I think the main problem was that woman, and I don't know why Sam and Henry have so much fucking story. Mm-hmm. Like the build-up, sorry, not story. They do have story to go with them. But so much build-up. They're meant to just be people you bump into. And then the fact that it's another guy, still obviously much younger than Joel, but another guy and then a kid as well.
Yeah, there's an important parallel there.
Yeah, and that obviously helps them grow, and the way Henry treats Sam informs the way Joel starts to treat Ellie and all this sort of stuff. And then there's obviously the bit with the thing.
Yes.
And that happens. This is how many times we've played that game. The bit with the thing makes sense to you. And I don't, with what they've set up, and then that change that, like, you don't get any of that. Mm-hmm. You don't get any of it. And there's that whole bit where obviously we're not really going to get where they find it, like, ish, and if you can follow that, you're not going to get that. You can't. But or if they do, that's taking even more time. Because my concern with this show from before it even came out was time. Mm-hmm. How are you going to have enough time to build up the relationships and to get to the story points that you need, and they're wasting so much of it. An hour and a half on a side relationship, which is fine. As I say, it was great. This was a 45-minute episode where 25 minutes of it was this other nonsense woman and building up to a person that's been like, why does everything need to have this big surrounding thing? Why can't it be completely coincidental that you just bump into someone and it turned out to be a very important relationship that you have?
As you say, that's what happens in the game.
That's
and
what happens
works.
with the game. It works, and you don't question it. You just think that, oh, what is it in the game? Sam and Henry within another group, they got separated. They're planning on meeting somewhere. They're planning on meeting somewhere. They get separated. Joel and Ellie tag along for a while because there's these guys going around that have nothing to do with them specifically. They're just fuckers who want to kill, rape, pillage. They want to Genghis Khan their way through everything. But no, they have to be connected to Sam and Harry. Everything has to be fucking connected. This is what fucking Marvel. They've ruined everything. Everything has... Like, why do we have to have this notion of there has to be a fucking trail? Like, has no one lived a life where you just, like, accidentally meet someone who turns out to be incredibly important in your life? Like, it fucking happens. We did that through the means of capitalism. So, but I just... I really don't like this notion of there's no such thing as coincidence. Well, yes, there fucking is.
Yeah.
It happens all the fucking time. And it worked in the game. That's why I don't understand the change. It was perfect. The way it was all set up, the way it was laid out, what that then leads to. Because there are so many things that I think at this point now you don't get. You just don't get. And
Give me some examples.
I don't want to spoil anything, but everything you get with Sam and Ellie in the little town.
Yes. Agreed.
For the main part, you don't get that. Or you get some fucking bastardized version because, like...
I'm really concerned, based off how they've changed other things so far, I'm really concerned about how they're going to fucking treat Sam and Henry and their story. Very concerned.
Yeah. You said last week I have some concerns. I was like, nah, I don't. This is fine. And I'm watching this one and I go, shit. I was like, honestly, I would say, after I watched this episode, I was like, they fucked it. Like, I would say at this point, they've fucked it. And that's only coming from... I don't know how anyone feels about this episode who haven't played the game. So...
Sound off.
Sound off. Hannah, essentially. Sound off. But for me, I was just watching this going, they fucked it.
See, I don't think they fucked it because I think there's a lot of time to bring stuff around and, yes, okay, there's certain moments.
At the very least, they fucked this bit.
That I agree with. I think they fucked this bit as well. Totally agree.
I think they fucked this entire town. I don't want, if that woman doesn't get her throat ripped out next episode.
Oh, I think she's going to die.
Oh, yeah, she will, but I want it to be gruesome. I want it to be... horrendous. I want it to be fucking horrendous and preferably real.
Lord.
I jest, of course.
She was in 2.5 Men. She was in 2.5 Men.
Yeah, I know.
That's more of a reason for her misery as well.
That's like red alarms. Don't hire this person. Anyone in that show, don't hire them. They weren't good. Have you seen 2.5 Men? Fucking abysmal. How do you... Oh, I bet David is Charlie Sheen. No. I know. We know who David is, but...
That'd be a very different episode. Charlie Sheen just turns up. Winning. You can't bite my finger. I've got tiger blood.
Yeah, I think the whole Sam and Henry bit and all of this.
See, I'm nervous about Sam and Henry. I'm nervous about the amount of changes we've seen that are seemingly completely unnecessary and arbitrary changes, and that they're going to change more important moments. They have changed important moments already, I think. This is what I said last week.
I think they did. In this episode, they changed important.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, but I think last week was when I just said that I think they're changing important moments, and that's concerning because they're important moments. Why are you changing them? If you need to change everything around them to build to those same crucial moments, that's fine. But when you start changing the crucial moments, unless you can somehow replace those moments with equally important moments, it doesn't work. And I think you just about got away with it with the Frank and Bill episode because, the letter from Bill meant that they were still able to have those moments.
Mm-hmm.
This one, though, we've had moments taken away, and at least at the moment, can't see how they're going to bring those moments back. They might do. They might find a way of making it work. Who knows?
Have we had the changes to Sam been confirmed? Or what was it in the next week?
He seems to be signing. Henry seemed to be doing sign language to him.
I see.
From what I could make out. But maybe I misinterpreted that.
It's entirely possible.
I do think my episode prediction is still right, though.
I think so too. But I also think then, unless this week's episode is a real long one, that's going to be well rushed.
No, I agree. No, I totally agree. And I think they'd have to do a lot in it.
They'd have to do a fucking shit ton in it.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of important moments.
Which isn't impossible. It's just I can't see how they do it. I mean, we might get to the end next week and go, fair enough, they brought that around.
They might do. And I don't think a lot of the moments that happen... I think a lot of the moments are going to be cut because they are predominantly gameplay. Even if they are important and hold a lot of important information, they are predominantly gameplay. The sewers, the sniping.
Yeah. Hannah just said there, I didn't like the annoying woman. Good. I love the dad jokes. Good, because they're great. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, it would be more harrowing to try and kill someone, just paralyze them. I assuming that's in reference to Ellie shooting the guy.
She did paralyze him,
yeah. Yeah. And again, yeah, absolutely. Kill them.
Yeah, she does in the game. That guy, she shot him in the face in the game.
And I assume she spoke about Henry, he was a grown man. Henry is a grown man.
Henry's the grown man at the end.
And then Sam is the kid at the end that's holding the gun. That's got the face paint on.
For some reason. But that's fine.
Because he's a kid. Just as a superhero.
That's fine. He seems to be older in the game.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him being a kid dressed as a
superhero. Yeah, no, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, in the game it implies he's about the same age as Ellie.
Yeah. He seems to be quite...
He seems to be a bit younger.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Those sort of changes, I don't think... Those changes are the ones that don't actually really matter. You can get to the same moment.
You can still do this. Yeah, exactly. You can still do
there is the opportunity here they can bring it around, but at the moment I'm worried they're taking them away. But my smug face...
Why is Henry supposedly working for Fedra? And also, how long have you been hunting him? If Fedra's completely fucking gone...
That's true.
How long ago was this?
I do have a smug face for one thing, though.
What?
I do feel that this is proving the point I made before. That this story is as good as it is because it's a video game. I've continuously hyped on that. Ever since this game fucking came out, whenever I talk about The Last of Us, what I continue to say is this story is incredible, but it's as good as it is because it's a video game. It tells you a story in a way that only a video game can, and I think this is proving my point.
I don't necessarily agree or disagree with you, purely because I will in a couple of hours. Purely 3, maybe.
That soon?
Oh yeah, fair.
Because I know what will happen. We'll play Dead Space for a bit, and then we'll pack up from that, and I'll put the PlayStation back in there, and I'll put on Hogwarts Legacy, and you will sit.
I feel attacked. But
no, I don't mean that in a...
No, I know. I was about to say I feel attacked, but I know it's alarmingly accurate.
You will also...
If I sit down in there, we're doomed.
There'll be a couple of... You'll put your coat on before you sit down. Yeah. You'll go, I'll put my coat on, so otherwise I'll be here forever. And then you go, I'm going to sit down for a bit. And you'll sit down, and you'll be like, I'm here now. The coat will come off, because you'll get warm.
I'm being outed live on air.
It's okay, I don't mind. I tell you when I've had enough of you.
I don't sleep. Can't agree or disagree because they've made too many changes. So I don't know if this fucking story is as good as it is as a TV show because they keep changing the fucking important bits. So it's just like, well, you're telling a different story, and that's...
Well, I think those changes are coming from them trying to circumnavigate the fact that they can't tell things in the same way. I don't think they're making the right decisions, but I think that's why they're trying to do it. I think they're trying to circumnavigate the fact that you don't have the same amount of time to spend.
Yeah, and you can't just have the characters sitting around talking all the time.
I just don't think they're making the right decisions.
Yeah, they've changed all the wrong stuff. They've changed literally all the wrong stuff. You can just, out of all the conversations that they have when during gameplay moments and when you're wandering, just take the important bits and you can put them elsewhere. But the actual beat for beat story stuff, you should have as the same thing. Like as we've said, what they've done with Sam and Henry completely changes from what we
the
can
potential
tell.
of their relationship.
Yeah, exactly. The relationship and where they go. And
Hannah says, doesn't the fact they're making changes keep it interesting for you, or do you want a verbatim copy of the game? I can answer this. Both. Changes are fine, but if you're changing crucial plot moments for what is a very, very plot-driven game and a plot-driven story, that's where the issue comes in, especially when there are many moments which are literally verbatim the game. There are many scenes in this which are word for word, line for line, shot for shot the game. So some of it is alarmingly accurate. I mean, they've literally pulled the script of the game for some bits. The bit in the car and the interaction over the magazine and, why all the pages stuck together, that entire section is exactly like it is in the game. It's shot the same. This shot, that sequence there is exactly from the game. So some of it is bang on anyway. So then when you get to these really, really important moments that are pivotal in the character story, and obviously Jack and I have a different perspective because we know where it's going. But I think when you start changing those really pivotal moments, it's alarming, but potentially also the issues that we're worried about and starting to see happen. So the issue I know Jack and I have with this particular one is we know what happens with Sam and Henry's story, but based off the way they've changed things so far, they've changed the setup for that in a way that we can't picture, at least, how they make that work in the same way they did in the game without having to change the rest of their story. And that's one of those concerning things but that's important. And it's really important for Joel and Ellie, which is what the main focus of the story is. That's where our concerns come from. And I think last week's episode shows that if they manage to do that in a way which is still compelling but doesn't change the overall outcome for Joel and Ellie, it's okay. But when you start potentially changing the outcome for Joel and Ellie, which is what we have seen in this episode, that's then not.
Yeah, I
think that's a good description.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. It's one of those. It also then becomes was it a necessary change or was it a decent change at the least? Obviously, none of the changes are necessary, but was it a decent enough change or was it completely and utterly fucking arbitrary? Like if Sam is deaf, arbitrary. That adds nothing. Mm-hmm. Takes away nothing, really. Actually, no, I'd say that...
I think it does take away things.
I think that could take away quite a lot of that story.
Because there's really important stuff with Sam and Ellie, which potentially could be taken away. Not only potentially, because obviously they can still... But the thing is, Ellie's not going to know sign. She's not going to... No. She's unlikely to know ASL. And it would be fucking weird if they were to suddenly write in, I learned ASL in federal school. Well, fuck off. It's a weird coincidence. I don't buy that. Mm-hmm. We were reading things at the same time, but as a fan, the identical sequences are there to bring you joy. If the man who wrote the game wrote the TV show, maybe bide your concerns for now and have faith. Yes, you're not entirely wrong, and I'm absolutely remaining open that they'll make it work. I just at the moment can't see how they will. He's also a showrunner, not the main writer, so he's written some of it, but Craig Mazin has also wrote lots of it, and this episode was directed by someone else entirely.
Mm-hmm. Well, that happens all the time.
Yes, I know, but I mean, he's not the only person writing it, so I doubt he's got all the power.
I've always found the different episodes being directed by different people utterly counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
That seems like the most illogical thing in the known universe. Direct the whole fucking thing. Why not? You clearly aren't doing multiple episodes at different times because the actors are. So just direct the whole fucking thing. It's like, yeah, but they're show running. But what's that? If not director?
It's directing the director.
Pointless.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Both.
But Hannah, I don't disagree with your comment on like having faith, and I do have faith that Neil Druckmann. I have faith in Neil Druckmann. I do have faith in Neil Druckmann. I've never seen him personally. I don't think he's ever dropped the ball.
Even with something that he was given in the middle of with Uncharted 4.
Yeah, which he
was
rescued.
given that in the middle of it. He didn't even want to do it.
And they had to piece it together.
Yeah, and they were already given like these are the locations, these are the certain things that are happening, and you've got to Tetris it into your own story now.
Yeah. So I have faith in Neil Druckmann, but I have me personally, I don't have any reason to have faith in Craig Mazin or any of the other people working on this show.
From what I can see, I haven't seen it properly, but from what I can see, Chernobyl is great, but that is it.
Yeah, but also Chernobyl isn't
it's not an
adaptation of something. It's his own thing. Craig Mazin's
also
also other stuff he's done is batshit mental.
Yeah, awful.
Superhero movie and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely fucking atrocious. I've seen some of his comedy stuff. Not good. But a good thing this isn't a comedy. But it's like people who try out to be comedians are oddly good at directing non-comedic things. Mm-hmm.
Well, that was like the I think Nick Offerman. Nick Offerman is fucking hilarious.
This is his first dramatic role.
Great dramatic performance. I think Jim Carrey as well.
Oh, I disagree.
Oh no, I think he's a great dramatic actor. Films like Truman Show.
There's a lot of comedy in that, though.
There is comedy in that, but also there's comedy in Nick Offerman's performance as Bill as well.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But I think
Jim Carrey is still playing a comedic person in a dramatic setting.
But I think comedic actors are good at dramatic stuff because they just have a good understanding of human emotion, I think. To be able to see the funny side of everything, you just have to have a good understanding of human emotion and what it is to be a human, which is why I think they're good at dramatic roles.
No, I agree. But the guy who made the Joker also made the Hangover trilogy. I feel like you're saying that as if the Joker is meant to be good.
Yes, you're assuming that Jack likes the Joker.
I think the Joker is shit. Unabashedly.
Oh, that's a good word.
Dog shit, the Joker is. I fucking hate that movie. And I don't know why they're doing a sequel. I don't know why it's a fucking musical. And I don't know why Lady Gaga's in it. What is this life?
Hell. That's what this life is.
It is hell. I won't be watching that movie. Not to say that Lady Gaga can't act. She's obviously a very talented musician as well. But why is she Harley Quinn? And why can't we leave Harley Quinn alone? Fuck off with Harley Quinn.
Anyway, in any which way, what I was saying was...
You set me off.
I do have some faith that they'll bring it round, but as someone who cares about this source material and this story, and specifically the story and these characters, like, I really care about these characters. That's always been the big thing for me. I fucking care for the characters. I care for Eddie. I care for Joel. I care for their relationship. And again, what I know fucking happens with it. It's why part 2 is traumatizing for me because of what happens with the character's story. Part 2 isn't traumatizing because it's scary. It isn't traumatizing because it's gruesome. It's traumatizing because of the emotional thing that happens to the characters. Oh. That's why it's traumatizing for me.
Those games are gruesome.
Yeah, they are, but that's not the reason why I don't want to do this. That's not what it is.
No.
It's my connection to the characters.
Oh, yeah. It's the beginning.
Yes.
And it's the end.
Yes. And everything in the middle.
There's many things in the middle that I'm just like, ooh, but a lot of it is like, I don't like this person, so I don't experience.
I'll tell you the bit in a minute when we're off air, the bit that gets me.
What, in the middle?
Middle-ish. No, closer to the end. But I'll tell you in a minute.
Intriguing.
But as I say, it's because I care about it so much is why it's just really hard to not be apprehensive and like, you know. And I've never been that person. You always see it. You see an adaptation of a source of something, and you got the people that are fans of the source material go, "It doesn't do that in the comics." And you're like, "Oh, fucking get over yourself! It's doing it here." And I've always felt like, "Get over yourself! You're just doing it here." But I've never been on it on this side where it's like, but I fucking really care for this, and you're fucking taking something which I love and taking away what I love from it.
I also still stand by the comic argument.
So do I.
Purely because, like, saying it doesn't do that in a Spider-Man comic or something, it's like, have you read them all?
Yeah.
Like, it probably fucking does. There's just a Okay, it doesn't do it in that arc that you like. There are thousands. Just Amazing Spider-Man has like 2,000 issues or something fucking stupid. Probably not that many, but even so. But then there's Superior Spider-Man and Ultimate Spider-Man and Spider-Pig and Spider-Ham. I wasn't talking bollocks. Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Man 2019. Look at all the different fucking versions of Spider-Man. There's Spider Island and Spider-Verse.
Bombastic Bagman.
The Bombastic Bagman and all that. His arc, Spider-Man became a member of the Fantastic Four, and then suddenly there were 5 of them, so they became the Future Foundation. There's so fucking much. Like, at some point, if you see that in the movie, like, it's safe to assume they've got it from somewhere, or, like, cool.
There's also
they've made a change, but there are so many versions of this that it doesn't matter. And I am a massive comic fan, and there will be things like. And I don't feel that with DC and Marvel. I don't care if they change shit. Because this is like, okay, this is just 10,007. This is just the 10,008th version of this character in this story that we're seeing. That's fine.
This is the second.
Yeah, but this is the second. And the same with when Invincible came out and they started making changes. I was like, or when Paper Girls was on and they started making a lot massive budgetary changes, but changes nonetheless. I was like, and clearly many people agreed because Paper Girls is no more.
Yes,
which is very sad. But so with The Last of Us, there is one version of this story. That is the games. We're getting a new version here, and so the change, and it's meant to be more an adaptation. The MCU isn't an adaptation of anything in particular.
It's their own story.
It's the universe that they've created to the point where within the comics and the films, it's one of the multiverses. The comics still exist in that multiverse. The movies exist in the comics multiverse of multiverse. It all exists in one. But whereas this is it's the only adaptation. Possibly the only one that ever happens, and it's
and we said in the first episode that they were adapting it really well for it. I think the first episode's actually been one of the strongest episodes so far, personally, because I think it's a perfect adaptation. I think it does a really good job of going, hey, here's the same bit, here's the same story, and we're giving you new bits of context which serve the story. I think the first episode does that really, really well. I think the episode does that fairly well, but I don't like some of the more arbitrary changes. I think the third episode doesn't do the adaptation as well, but what it does give us is such a good bit of writing in TV, you can kind of let it go. I think this one, they've just kind of missed it.
Changed things willy-nilly and haven't given us much of a great episode of TV.
Yes. There's nothing redeeming about what they've done to make up for the fact they've changed it.
No. Yeah, I agree. Again,
they can fix that for episode 5. They could.
Yeah, no, they absolutely could. Like, it's not set in stone yet, but the concerning thing is there's only... When it comes to the Sam and Henry stuff, I imagine we're
this is it.
And then episode 5 is it.
Yeah.
Is what I would imagine for that. But apologies, I guess that could be kind of taken as spoilery a little bit there. But so what we see, this episode very much felt like a filler between set pieces. Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't it like anyone's released a runtime for episode 5 yet?
No, I know, but I think it would need to be one of the longer ones. Surely.
So I'll find out.
Surely, I couldn't find it on like IMDb or anything.
Yeah, it's not on IMDb. The Last of Us.
Which is weird because
episode
it airs on American Friday, so Saturday 2 a.m.
runtime.
But yeah, very odd. It's a very odd place to be. Very
Apparently
odd.
it's 61 minutes.
Oh, so, no, that's not long enough. Not long enough to do that properly. I guess, I don't know. It depends how much time they keep cutting away to focus on irritating women and not Tommy. I should probably give Hannah some context. We keep calling someone not Tommy.
Oh, yes. Perry is the
bearded,
Perry.
The big, bearded, right-hand man plays Tommy in the game. is the voice actor for Tommy in the game.
Yeah.
That's why I keep calling him not Tommy.
So apparently episode 6 is also a 60-minute runtime. Episode 7 is 56 minutes. Episode 8 is 51 minutes. And episode 9 is only 43 minutes.
What? I suppose, actually, if what we've got...
If what we think, episode 9,
that can be shorter. That's fine. That needs to be longer.
Yeah, that one's concerning.
My... what was 7?
56 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Although, that... Episode 7, the title of it, means my episode prediction might be wrong.
Oh. Oh.
Interesting.
Very. Because that changes everything.
My episode 6 prediction is right, based off this.
What's episode 6? Where's episode 6?
This advert has...
It says episode 5 there. Episode 5, episode 6. That's very confusing.
What's happening?
This is a very bad website.
This advert has...
Covered it.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah. We'll see.
How does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. We'll work it out. I mean, I'm still fucking enjoying watching it. I'm still enjoying watching the show. So.
And
I'll continue to.
Continue to watch the show, and I'm sure I will, once it's all available, I'm sure I'll buy it on Apple TV
And watch it in Dolby Vision.
Watch it. Well, no, because HBO don't release their stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was filmed in Dolby Vision, though.
Yes, I know.
So it means...
But so is Peacemaker, and you can only buy that in 1080p.
Why film it in a...
Because HBO have no
Warner
fucking
Brothers haven't
clue
got a
what
clue,
they're
have they?
doing. They don't have a clue what they're fucking doing. Like, it's not just Sky that are doing us dirty on this. It's HBO that are doing us dirty on this nonsense. This is why it would be, even if suddenly out of nowhere Disney Plus got it, please, if HBO does a deal with someone that isn't Sky, which I really fucking hope, when their deal ends, move on to someone else. I really hope it's not Netflix, because they're fucking everyone off, and I think Netflix are gonna go. If they don't back down, I think Netflix are gonna go.
Yeah, I actually probably going to cancel my Netflix subscription.
Same.
Because it's really expensive.
It's really fucking expensive. And
I
they're
don't
the most
watch anything
expensive
on
one.
it.
They're the most expensive one, and they're the one playing silly fucking buggers.
Yes, exactly. The most expensive one. I'm playing silly buggers. They have the least amount of content I'm interested in watching, and the people on my Netflix account who use it the most aren't me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna there are people on my Netflix who don't use it. I'm just well, the option is you either pay at minimum half of it,
Yes.
or I'm cancelling it.
And you can pay for it in full
Yeah,
for your own thing.
I'm happy to pay half of it, but even then, that's not going to matter because they're going to up it again to be able to use it in a different house.
Yeah.
They're trying to make you go through, sign in every 31 days. My Netflix password is 40 characters. I'm not typing that in on a TV. The moment that happens,
Cancel.
Cancel. Delete. Go fuck yourself.
I think I'd actually, the money I'd save on Netflix a month, I'd rather buy the things I want to watch on Apple TV.
Agreed.
With that money.
I would rather, so the thing I'm whatever will I do is Stranger Things and all of Mike Flanagan's stuff when that comes out. Okay, I'll buy it. Mm-hmm. I'll put money that goes straight towards them more directly as opposed to Netflix getting my subscription. I'll just buy Mike Flanagan's TV show. I'll buy Stranger Things.
I'm happy to continue to pay for Disney Plus because Disney Plus is a really good quality service and is full of content.
Yeah, it's cheap.
And
Wow.
For what
Disney Plus is less than half of what I'm paying for Netflix.
and it's a better quality.
Yeah.
Video quality is better.
It's cheaper, offers all the stuff that Netflix make you pay extra for as part of the goddamn service.
Yeah.
It's just built in. Not only 4K, but IMAX. It's just got fucking everything on it. Amazon Prime regardless of what they do with the streaming service, I will always pay for the delivery service.
Yeah, exactly.
So I will always just have Amazon plus Invincibles on it. So
Clarkson Farm starts tomorrow.
does it?
Season 2, yeah.
I should probably finish season 1.
You should. It's good.
I probably should, but he's going to suggest people throw poo at royalty again. I imagine so.
He did confirm that Amazon haven't cancelled him.
Did he?
He put a thing out on Twitter saying that, as usual, the internet will have you believe things that isn't true. All of my shows are going ahead, and there are no talks to cancel any contracts whatsoever with Amazon, and we are still in talks of doing more shows later.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I did. Obviously, all of it was complete.
Yeah.
Like, basically writing articles based on
Yes, it's just
wishful
the
thinking.
Twitter. It's just the twittering.
Yeah. Yes. It's a platform where people just go to accuse everyone of being bigoted transphobes on a platform owned by a bigoted transphobe. So no one really sees the irony in their fuckwittery. But anyway,
We got Dead Space to play.
we've got Dead Space to play. So thank you very much for joining. Coming up on the channel tomorrow, providing that installations and everything go correctly, Rich will be doing his weekly gaming stream. What?
Don't worry. Please continue.
Rich will be doing his weekly gaming stream of, and this week he'll be playing Hogwarts Legacy. So go and watch Rich become a real man and do wizardings. He would have you believe that he grew up, but he's secretly... Oh no, you start as a 5th year, don't you?
Yeah.
I was making this whole joke about him like becoming a man and going off into the real world at age 11. But it was 5th year, so my all ruined.
Yep. Ruined. Expelliarmus.
Go watch Rich be a 16-year-old boy. There you go. That's what you could do, and he can Expelliarmus. Flipendo!
Have you unlocked Flipendo
No, I
yet?
have not.
Apparently you can Flipendo cows. There's a trophy for Flipendoing 10 cows.
I didn't even know there were cows.
I know!
Where are the cows?
Somewhere in one of the fields, I assume.
Probably.
That's where cows tend to be.
Yeah. I've got a few weird creatures running around my requirement.
Oh, yeah.
Rich says I didn't like the idea that you can't have a beard until I thought, oh yeah.
I agree.
I
know. There are many 15, 16-year-old kids that have beards. Why can't my character have a beard? If anything, why can't I just go to Honeydukes and buy or Zonko's and buy some kind of thing that makes a beard grow? That exists in the Harry Potter universe. Why can't I just have that?
Because I feel like the 15, 16-year-olds who do have beards are 9 feet tall.
Why can't I make my character 9 feet tall? Why can't I do that?
The more the exception than the rule, really.
So? You're supposed to have a really deep character creator. It doesn't. You have 7 faces.
Have they claimed to have a deep character?
I did read somewhere that it has a deep character. Yeah, it's proper fucking vague.
But anyway, on Saturday we'll be back to talk about Press Start and talk in more detail about Hogwarts Legacy, and then we'll be playing more Dead Space again, and then next week, fuck knows.
Right, let's do Dead Space.
I'm assuming we're still, even though the episode is earlier, we're still just going to do Thursday.
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't think we would be fucking about, but I just thought I'd check. But anyway, see you in a minute.